Chad, we know the Pac-12 television deal is terrible currently moving forward for the conference. And it got me thinking, there's a report out that, we referenced this last week, the corner programs for the Pac-12 could be targeted for the Big 12. Arizona, Arizona State, Utah, Colorado, right?
Yep.
In thinking about those boundaries with those programs, Colorado is a no-brainer now based on Deion and the buzz and the hype. NIL, the evaluations and the projections for what players are going to make annually, right now in the top 10 and on 3, 2 of those players currently in college football are with Colorado and Coach Prime. The eyeballs that are going to be on the product, just from a fan base interest, but also the national network interests, the highlight interest, the reality show. The cameras follow him everywhere he goes across the program, in any locker room or any state as they travel throughout their schedule. Chad, his job at Jackson State had a more consistent television package than what the Pac-12 is trying to put together right now. Think about that. And if I'm Prime, I'm not just leveraging saying, hey, we should take a look at the Big 12. I'm saying, let's do it now. Let's jump in now and maximize what we're building, because if we're going there anyway, let's go ahead and jump in and get a head start, because right now you're be competing against Texas and Oklahoma, but not for long. And then you have Prime running things. If you look at if we were to rank the coaches in the Big 12, I mean, he jumps right into the mix, and I mean, we know he's going to recruit nationally.
Yep.
But he gets as much exposure as the top coach in the conference. I don't know why they wouldn't automatically make the move and guarantee themselves the brand that's going to be on television week in and week out, instead of once or twice a year based on if they can get on CBS at night, if they're a top team in the conference, and if they can get the clearance by the network to do that when they don't want to run over or overlap what they're going to do with the Big Ten.
Yeah, and I think Colorado, there's not – it doesn't blow you away with the matchups you'd suddenly have with them as opposed to the Pac-12. But I do think it makes a little bit more sense to play Kansas, Oklahoma State, Iowa State, Kansas State, Baylor, as opposed to going to California and playing the schools there.
Right, but moving forward.
It's the TV part of it. Yeah. That's the biggest issue. But also, they're going to be at 14. You need an even number. I mean, if I'm the Big 12, Colorado, Utah. Arizona, Arizona State can stay together. Colorado, Utah, if you need a partner to bring over, those make a lot of sense. If you want to just go to 16 right now, you got 14 with the 4 additions coming over. The Big 12 was 10, which math can be very confusing. But bringing over those 4, I think you bring over 2 more. Colorado, Utah would be my picks. We'll get back into it with our new media consultant about hypothetical additions, subtractions, and conferences. Those are the 2 I would target.
Yeah, I wouldn't wait on the new deal. I would just go ahead and say, hey, every year for the last 2 years on July 4th weekend, there has been conference realignment news. And the Big 12 then reacted well compared to what we've seen in the Pac-12. But if I'm the Big 12, I go ahead and try to grab the conference, the players and coaches and the fan bases I can now, instead of reacting to whatever this TV deal is going to be. And it looks like it's going to be a hodgepodge. But still, I wouldn't want that program locked into a new grant of rights for any reason if they can get out now. And Colorado should do it.
Well, in Colorado, Deion Sanders at Colorado has just completely transformed what that program could be.
That's the only reason I would want to.
They were not desirable at all for anyone, but with him there, now you also have to factor in what happens when Deion Sanders gets a better offer and bolts. You're right back to being Colorado.
Sure, but you
would think that's years away.
And you would be hiring from a different pool, though, I would think, based on being in the Big 12.
Well, yes, being in the Big 12, but also you're going to raise a lot of money with Deion Sanders being there. So Deion Sanders can help raise the profile financially of that program with donations from boosters, with facility improvements. They're already knocking it out of the park with ticket sales for that team. So all of those things can contribute to it being a better job for the next coach.
Chad, Kliff Kingsbury is back in college football. Back, and with Lincoln Riley, He is teaming up with Lincoln Riley at USC. He just could not help himself. He is with the Trojan family back out west.
I do appreciate Kliff Kingsbury, who was there for 42 days before. He was offensive coordinator for 42 days for Clay Helton. And then he got the call from Arizona and went to the NFL. And no one blames him for that move. I like to look at the alt reality of Kliff Kingsbury doing well for Clay Helton and how that could possibly lead to either Kliff Kingsbury being the head coach at USC at this point or Clay Helton still being in charge and Lincoln Riley still being at Oklahoma and not being a part of the program. And now it comes full circle where he's back working for Lincoln Riley. I want to applaud Kliff Kingsbury for not falling into the trap we all thought he would. And the joke that was out there immediately that he was just going to go to Alabama and be an analyst for Nick Saban and then be a head coach somewhere in college football again.
Or be the OC.
At least he went a little bit outside the box and he decided to be an analyst for Lincoln Riley instead of Nick Saban. I think it's brilliant for Kliff Kingsbury from this perspective. He's not tying himself to Lincoln Riley. He's tying himself to Caleb Williams. So this is a guy who has been around Patrick Mahomes in college, been around Kyler Murray, been around some really good quarterbacks, and now he can come in and say that I was around Caleb Williams, possibly next year's number 1 overall pick, and that's just going to help his profile even more for whatever job he wants next. He doesn't want to be an analyst at USC for long. I'm assuming he wants to be a head coach again relatively soon. This is a nice launching point for that. A soft reopening for Kliff Kingsbury back in college football.
That's right. Davey Hudson, across the room from us, you said it's like he didn't even leave Arizona. You didn't leave for Arizona and be the head coach of the Cardinals.
Very much so, Hut. And to kind of just come clean, I took the easy route, and the image that you're seeing on your screen, I just pulled that from 2018 as well. So that's not even the new one. I don't know if USC's actually even tweeted that out yet.
Welcome to the Trojan family, Kliff.
But, man, time is a flat circle.
It really is. Like Matthew McConaughey once said in True Detective.
I mean, I would have just used that, too.
Kliff Kingsbury looks so good, too. I didn't know that was him 5 years ago. He's aged very well. You could have told me that's Kliff Kingsbury today, and it looks exactly the same.
Yeah, just maybe he's got the suntan going because of where he's been. Where did he go?
Is it Kingsbury or McVay that has the McVay's married now, but that has like the Ukrainian model girlfriend?
I think that's Kingsbury. But
is she trying to break it in Hollywood?
No. Didn't she just leave? She left the resort that they went to, or the country that they left to.
Thailand?
It was Thailand. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, she left early from Thailand, I believe. Maybe she did have the modeling career to get back to.
Now, I do know that McVay's wife is from Ukraine because he made the comments about he might not come back to coaching because of the war in Ukraine and her family like having some issues over there.
So they're both connected with that.
I just thought
Kingsbury did.
I immediately thought this is also nice if she's trying to do something with modeling, acting, whatever in Hollywood, that he can go be an analyst at USC.
What a gig! They could go hang out and disappear in Lincoln Riley's massive mansion with the $20 million mansion.
I'll never forget the shot of him during the COVID draft.
Yeah,
just chilling in his mansion in Arizona.
Hanging.
What a life!
Kingsbury's girlfriend's Polish.
Oh, Polish chat. Sorry.
Veronica.
Trevor in the YouTube chat says McVay has a Ukrainian wife.
And then, but which has the model? The
I think
they're both models. I think, yeah.
But both would leave would leave Thailand. You're saying if they were on a vacation?
They both went for Eastern European models. Shocking. I, for one, am appalled and shocked.
And chances are they have more.
Both these guys would have Eastern European model.
Let's be honest.
Wives.
McVay also has a Polish model, and Kingsbury also has Ukrainian. Girlfriend.
You know, they do well, is what we're saying.
No problem. Yeah, no problem in that department. No problem for the ACC. Jim Phillips is re-up for a 3-year extension. That's huge as the ACC commissioner, because whatever the horizon looks like, I would have thought the Big Ten would have pounced on the guy that finished second to Kevin Warren in the last hiring process to take the Big Ten to the next level, because I think whenever you start to mention Greg Sankey, okay, who's number 2? It was Kevin Warren. But after that, it was Phillips. And now he's staying with the ACC. That is great news for the conference as they try to determine the direction that they're headed. And, Chad, as they negotiate with the programs that feel like they're propping up the rest of the Atlantic Coast Conference, namely Clemson, Florida State, They've said that. But beyond those programs, I mean, you're going to have everybody that is going to be fed through the college football playoff moving forward and all of the ties to the right of grants agreement, and look around and go, okay, we need a bigger piece of the pie. Jim Phillips has done a nice job handling it so far, and he's in charge of making sure it works where no one's going to jump ship. That's huge.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good for the ACC. I'm curious as to just how much in play he was with the Big Ten. This may have been a move where, you know, it's convenient that there's an opening, but he really wasn't in play. But, yeah, I mean, I think consistency and leadership is important, and that's going to be important for the ACC now because the tectonic plates of college sports are still continuing to shift below everyone's feet.
Yeah.
And you want to be as stable as possible when things start to move again, and they will.
And when you want a seat at the table, Jim Phillips can have a seat at the table. I don't know for how long with where we're headed with the Big Ten and the SEC, but the ACC has ensured that Phillips can pull up a chair and at least have that discussion.